right, this is a constant. It's graphed as a horizontal line, which means that its slope is always 0. For a parabola, if I think about this shape, sometimes I have negative slopes, sometimes I have a 0 slope, sometimes I have a positive slope, and the way that slope changes ends up being a constant, ends up moving at a constant rate, and that's 2x. So if I think about this with my parabola, I've got it centered at 0. Here is where at the point 0, if I drew in a tangent, I would get a slope of 0. If I plug in 0, I get a slope of 0. For all of my x values less than 0, I'm going to have negative slopes. And sure enough, if I plugged in a negative number, I would get a negative slope. Applying my power rule, the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. Another way that I could check this is by graphing it on Desmos. So Desmos really nicely lets us set up f of x. So I can say that I have an f of x equal to x cubed. And then I could say that y is equal to f prime of x. And I suspect that that function is 3x squared. And I see that they are the same. All right, 8. So my derivative, 8x to the 7th. I'm going to rewrite this. So I'm rewriting f of x, not yet finding the derivative. I'm calling that x to the negative 4 power. So then my derivative, negative 4, x to the negative 5. And then I could rewrite that as negative 4 over x to the 5th. Root x, I already know. The derivative of that is going to be 1 over 2 root x. All right, let's keep going. So here I'm going to multiply the 4 by the 5. I'm starting with y this time, so I use dy dx, and I get 20x to the 3rd. I'm going to expand my y. That's going to give me 8x cubed. So that means that my derivative is 24x squared. All right, derivative here, no problem, 10x to the negative 6th. Here I'm just going to leave it rather than changing the form because I started with negative exponents. 3 over x, that's the same as 3x to the negative 1. So my derivative, negative 3x to the negative 2. This started with positive exponents, so I'm going to call this negative 3 over x squared. All right, I'm going to multiply 15 over 4 by 2/3. That's going to give me 5 over 2. X to the negative 3rd. Here I was in rational form, so I can stay in rational form. I don't have to convert it to root form. And I don't have an idea about whether to stay negative or not, so I could just leave it like this. Or I could rewrite it as 5 over 2x to the 3rd if I wanted. Here's my f of x. That's the same as x to the negative 1/3. So then my derivative, negative 1/3, x to the negative 4/3. Converting back into root form, negative 1 over 3 cube root of x to the 4th.